Max, one more thing we're going to do. We're going to start our series. I know. It's not fun. We go from, that's why I wanted to, like a spoonful of sugar, right?
I should have.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have really focused on that.
Spoonful
more.
of sugar.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about, now we got to swallow a spoonful.
We don't have to.
Spoonful of
I
crap.
just want you to know we don't have to.
We're going to do some postmortems for the college teams here in the state, and it's going to be ugly because there's a lot of corpses. So we are going to start today breaking down the UTEP Miners. The UTEP Miners, of course, had a relatively forgettable year. They finished the year 4-8. They will miss a bowl game once again. So we want to ask the questions. We're going to ask the same 4 questions every time. The first question is, what went right? Okay. Well, I mean, the running game is still very good, you know, and Aaron Jones had another fantastic year. I think the offensive line played actually pretty well.
Yeah.
And this was a team that honestly, you know what you're getting with UTEP. You know you're getting with UTEP under Sean Kugler. You're going to have that running game, and the running game is always going to put up nice numbers. You know, they finished 25th in the nation in yards per carry. You know, at 5.5 yards a carry, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
They did that, and the other thing that they did actually pretty well is when they did pass, they were actually relatively efficient. They completed a lot of their passes. Their receivers didn't drop a ton of balls. They took care of the ball as far as that's concerned. The sack rate was down. Overall, I think it was a good year for the offensive line, and like a resurgent year for them. And it was obviously coming back from injury. It was a resurgent year for for Aaron Jones at the running back spot. This is a team that did that pretty well. From a defensive standpoint, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, but I'll tell you that, man, Alvin Jones continues to be one of the most underappreciated players in the state. And I know he was banged up a little bit this year, but he still led the team in tackles, and he continues to be maybe one of the most underappreciated defensive players in the state. So that's what went right. What went wrong? I mean, pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you want to start? We can start with the fact that the defense was real bad. The defense was real bad, and the defense was real bad kind of. The defense was real bad, kind of in a they did not discriminate as far as being bad.
They were just bad.
From a rushing perspective, they were terrible.
Yeah.
They gave up 5.5 yards a carry. It's 111th in the nation. And opponents knew it. Opponents were like, we're just going to run it at you because we know that we can get great plays. And it ends up, resulting in a defense that gives up 37 points a game, 106th in the nation in total, in points per game. The passing defense was not very good either. They give up a 63% opponent pass completion. That is not good. That's decidedly not good. And the other thing is that, while they did not give up a ton of big plays, they gave up a ton of short plays. Like, they just got,
games ran away from them so quickly.
They really did. And so this was a team. The other thing, and maybe the biggest issue with the defense, is that they did not take the ball away. They averaged 1 takeaway a game, okay? And that seems like, oh, okay, that's nice.
That's a takeaway a game, Greg.
That's a takeaway a game. It's only a takeaway a game. That is 113th in the nation.
Wow.
Okay? They simply did not force enough takeaways.
Yeah.
They only, they did not, the secondary, I think, had a really bad year.
Yeah.
A really bad year from that perspective. They also, and maybe this is the biggest issue. The whole thing. They didn't pressure the quarterback at all.
This is true.
Okay? They didn't pressure the quarterback at all. Their sack rate was 114th in the nation. Terrible.
Jeez.
Terrible.
Okay. All right.
They did not pressure the quarterback at all. From an offensive perspective, I mean, we know how this offense is built, so I can say, oh, they didn't throw for many yards, but at the same time, that's not how that offense is built. The offense is not built to put up 500 yards a game. The offense is built up to put up about 350, maybe 400 yards a game, run for about 250, throw for about 150. That's what they want to do. And so I don't want to crap all over the quarterback play because the quarterback play is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Team MVP. We're gonna hand out a team MVP for the team, and I don't think there's
Didn't
really.
we already do this?
I didn't.
5 minutes ago.
I didn't think there's a question, right? It's
Yeah.
got to be Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, the running back for UTEP, has
And
a.
this is where you throw some random stat at me, right?
How about the fact that he, as far as yards per game,
Okay.
here's the running backs in the nation as far as yards per game.
All right.
Number 1, Dante Foreman from Texas.
Sure.
184. Awesome. People think he should have been in the Heisman conversation.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Second, San Diego State's Donnell Pumphrey. Fantastic year.
Yeah.
155 yards a game. Third, ahead of Christian McCaffrey, ahead of Dalvin Cook, ahead of Jamal Williams at BYU,
Yep.
ahead of Darius Geis, that running back from LSU who torched
right.
A&M.
Yeah.
Head of all those guys, number 3, Aaron Jones.
Baby.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
He runs for 1,773 yards and 17 touchdowns. This was a guy who just was a workhorse.
Yep.
And he knows he's the workhorse, and he's a baller. So just a fantastic year for him. I think he's got to be considered the MVP of this UTEP team in a forgettable year. So now we look ahead to 2017.
Okay.
What's ahead in 2017? Well,
good.
there's a couple of big questions about who's going to be back. The first of them is at the top. It's Sean Kugler. This was Sean Kugler's 4th season at UTEP, and
I mean,
and the problem is we know it was going to be a tough build at UTEP, but the problem is that UTEP is trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Okay, 2-10 first year, you go okay. 2012 or 2013, they go 2-10, you go okay. Starting over, picking up the pieces where Mike Price left them, just trying to piece it all together. 2-10, you go fine, that's fine. 2014. 7-6. They go 7-5. They finish second in their division. They go to a bowl game. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're getting back. UTEP is getting back to being a perennial 7, 8, 9 win team. Okay. 2015 step back. They go 5-7. Disappointing year. We talked about it at length. 2015 was a disappointing year. This is going to be a bounce back year. Yep. You're healthy. You have Aaron Jones back. You've got the pieces in place. This is a 4th year in the program, so you have cycled it all the way through, and UTEP goes 4-8, and they're worse.
Yeah.
And you have to start looking at the question of whether or not Sean Kugler is the right guy for the job. I don't know. I don't know what the folks in UTEP are guessing or asking. I get the feeling they're going to give him one more year.
Here's my thing. If you haven't made a decision yet, I think it's too late.
I think it's too late.
You know, you're going to end up in a situation like UTSA did last year where it's just too late in the game.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, there's that. The other question, and I'm super interested in it, and maybe I'm the only one asking it, is Aaron Jones back next year?
He shouldn't be.
So he's a junior, right? He's
Right.
a 4th-year junior.
Right.
So he would be
There's a couple people
he'd
who
be
have written articles about
He'd be a
this.
5th-year senior next year. Okay?
Time to go.
What more does he have to prove at the college
Gotta
level?
go. You got to go now. You got to go.
And for a guy who has battled through a little bit of injury problems, is the risk of staying around for a senior year too high?
No.
I think I wonder if Aaron Jones bolts. Now they've got the cupboard's full. My boy Q Wadley's waiting. Okay, my boy.
These are big shoes to fill, though.
Big shoes to fill.
Your
but
boy, I get it, but it's
the bigger issue is that they are losing. They're losing both tackles.
Oh boy.
Okay, and then they're bringing back their interior alignment, but they are losing both tackles, and that's going to be a big loss for them. They'll lose. Cole Freitag was a senior. They'll bring back their quarterback, whoever they want, whether it's Ryan Metz or Zach Greenlee. From the defensive perspective, they're losing Gino Breslin, who is actually, if you're talking about their defensive front, which was not good, Gino Breslin was probably their best.
Yeah.
Alvin Jones will probably stick around. I don't think he's a little smallish to profile as an NFL guy, so he'll probably stick around. But they're losing Nick Usher, they're losing Silas Fursley, so they're losing 2 of their 4 linebackers. And then they're losing Deshaun Smith at the safety spot. The rest is coming back, so there's a decent core there. But the biggest question heading into 2017 is whether or not Sean Kugler and Aaron Jones are back. If they're both back, then we can start looking at them and say maybe they can make a bowl game next year. But there's going to be there's still some serious questions for UTEP to answer heading into 2017.